Yeah, exactly. Get up out his seat, Otto! Viserys said, y'all better move. We? Don't include me in this. You. Like I made a speech years ago.
Hello everyone, my name is Michelle and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I truly appreciate it. If you could, please give it a like before exiting and please consider subbing. Today we'll be watching the 8th episode of House of the Dragon. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. As always, I truly appreciate everyone who tunes in and they watch and they listen to me ramble and they ramble and I ramble and I ramble. It's a lot sometimes, but I would just want to say thank you. It's been in my personal life, it's been like quite the last like 2 weeks. My dog, he went through surgery. He's you know, he's an old dog and things are just, with age, things break down. We noticed his hair was falling out and he'd been drinking a lot of water recently. Well, not recently, but for like a few months now, and lo and behold, we take him in and he gets tested and he has Cushing's disease, and so we have to get him on medication for that. And then he's been struggling to urinate on his own, so we have to hold him while he pees, and it's a lot for him, and he's not walking as well as he used to. We had to like get a whole bunch of like, we didn't want to carpet our home, but we had to get like a whole bunch of like massive throw rugs everywhere with like good grip so he can walk better and create a trail for him throughout the house, because we have tile and because he falls a lot. And so we just, we asked his vet if surgery was an option, and he said he didn't recommend it. So we had to get like a second opinion and then a third opinion, and driving all around, like 2 hours worth of driving with him in the car, and it's been a lot for him. And we finally found a surgeon far, like it's like about a 2 hour drive, and that's not including if traffic's bad. And he had a surgery. It was a very extensive surgery. It was very high risk, but he came through it well. Now he's home and he has his new little hip implant, and you think it would end there, like yay, good news, but he was on a catheter the entire time he was in the hospital. And I guess because he's not really comfortable, because both of his hips are bad. It's not just one hip. They only did, because they didn't want to do both hips at the same time. You can't do that to them. But he wouldn't pee. He felt so uncomfortable walking that he hadn't peed, and he's on so many medication for pain, to just sedate him as well, so he doesn't have to like be awake through it, because it was a big surgery. Just would not pee, so we had to take, and because the vet is so far and we have work and school, we just took him to a 24-hour vet, emergency vet, and they had to put him on a catheter. And just the amount of urine they got out of him was just like, oh god, this poor thing probably wasn't so much pain holding in that much urine, because the vet said if he hasn't peed in 48 hours, take him to us, but that's such a long drive going back and forth in school and work. And so we just took him to a 24-hour vet. Our bank accounts are crying with those 24-hour vets. Those emergency vet hospitals, they are no joke. I'm like, that much to just put a catheter in? I'm like, oh my god. But you get it, because it's an emergency. Like, we took them in the middle of the night, that way we'd be able to make it for school the next morning and class and all of that. So it's like, yeah, you get why they charge so much, because it's a 24-hour service. But Jesus, I thought I went blind reading that thing. But you shut your eyes and you do it because you love your animals. And all of his x-rays reveal that the poor thing, his arthritis is bad, so it's a whole thing. But once he's good, he'll go in for x-rays in 2 weeks. Then he'll go for another set of x-rays in 2 weeks. And I think they said after like a month and a half, he's cleared to start his therapy. So we already have a therapy specialist at our vet. So his primary vet. So we're going to start doing that for him. And it's been a lot. But I can't wait to see him in his little, he's going to do hydrotherapy and see him in the water just walking and getting his mobility back, because he's old. I've had him. It was between middle school and high school, and I wanted a dog again because we had one when I was younger, but she passed away. We named her Nala after the Lion King, and I wanted another dog in our home. And so I got a summer job at a dry cleaners, and I worked throughout the summer, and then I worked again during school. Like the first semester after school, I would tag clothes. Like people would bring their clothes and I would tag them. And I worked and I saved up, went to the Humane Society. I paid for his adoption fee, his first groomers, his first vet checkup, his bed, his crate, his everything. And I used to potty train him. I used to wait because I took the school bus, and since high school starts at like 7:20 a.m. I have to get up at like 5 a.m., go outside with him, potty train him. He's been in my life since I was a kid, and he's getting older now, and it's just the reality of things. It's like you're putting your hands out trying to stop a train, but it's just barreling towards you, but you do what you can to make them feel comfortable. Whatever. If you guys have pets and you've had pets for a long time, they're your fur babies. You do everything you can for them. Of course, if it's within your financial situation, but still, he's family at this point. We named him Kovu after the second Lion King, and he's such a little fighter. That's what everyone says about him. Like, he has such life and fight, and he's a stubborn old man, but like he came through well through the surgery, and you can tell they were afraid that he wasn't going to make it. I'm like, he has such a strong will, this dog. I mean, seeing him fall all the time, and then he just gets back up and he runs and he falls and he gets back up. It doesn't stop him. He just keeps going. That's why we had full faith he'd come through the surgery well, and he did. And he's home. Unfortunately, the anti-inflammatories has given him a horrible case of diarrhea, so he has to wear diapers. It's a lot, but he's sleeping right now. He's sedated, and so I thought, let me just pop in and do this real quick, give myself like an hour and a half to do this and just get away from it. He's here, he's sleeping, he's like in a little we got a playpen area, and we got a whole bunch of rugs from TJ Maxx, and we laid it down, put pee-pee pads, his diaper, his water, and he's knocked out. These narcotics are no joke. But okay, so last episode we get Daemon and Rhaenyra getting married in this like traditional garb ish. But essentially Rhaenyra is recruiting Daemon as an ally. She doesn't really have anyone but Daemon as like a viable warrior. And at the same time she recruits Daemon, and I will say this. I feel like it's both. It's love and it's political. Like you get, I feel like her proposal, she mentions the Greens. I think that's the first time we actually hear the Greens in her proposal. Like, she's like, I can't fight them on my own. Like, I need help. And I do like that she's recognizing the fact that she's going to need someone on her side. And she's recognizing the fact that this is going to come to war. Like, she's like, I feel like the fire was turned up under her behind. Otto's now, Otto's hand again. Aemon has Vhagar. The kids definitely are on opposite sides now. That whatever friendship they had, that's gone. And Aemon referred to the kids as bastards, and it's out there. Like, it was just, whispered about, but now her brother, her half brother, actually says it out loud. The fire's just turned up under her, and so I do think marrying Daemon is both one of love, but one of also recognizing war is coming. Like, they are coming for this effing throne, and the only way for me to claim this damn thing, I might have to go to war for this freaking throne at this point. And I need someone like Daemon has Caraxes. Daemon's really the only one who's been to battle with like, yes, Vhagar has seen battle, but no one his rider ain't seen war in the way Daemon has. And so, like, it's a smart move. Like, okay, you know what, Daemon, I'm gonna need you to shake off the rust because war is coming. And so I do like that we see Rhaenyra, like, she's last episode I felt like she was I think I called her pathetic. I don't say that in a mean way, but like she wasn't giving what Allison and Damon and what Allison and what Otto were saying about. Like Otto said she's gonna, when she becomes queen, she's gonna kill the kids, and then Allison's like, if Rhaenyra comes into power, she's gonna kill you and your brothers. And speaking of Daeron, hello, where you at? I mean, I guess we know where he's at. He should be at Old Town, but like I'm still waiting for them to mention him, because they time jumped. Who was born prior to the time jump? I honestly, I know Aegon was, but there was another. I don't know who was born prior to the time jump. Let's just start this episode before I go in. Before I go any further and start to question these kids' ages, who was born first, who was like who. I don't know these kids' ages. I don't know who was born first. The first time jump we got was episode 1 and 2 had a time jump. 6 months is what I believe Viserys says. It hasn't even been 6 months or something like that. Or Daemon. No, they said Daemon had taken over Dragonstone for like half a year. And then between episodes 2 and 3, there's, I think, 3-year time jump? Three or 4 years? I don't recall. It's either 3 or 4 years after that. So 6 months, 3 or 4 years. I don't think there was a time, like the next episode was Rhaenyra finds a husband. I don't recall them. All I know is that Alicent gave birth, but I don't know. I honestly don't recall who she gave birth to. Helena, she would have to be the kid that came next. And I don't know how old she was. I don't remember if they said it. So I don't know if there was a time jump after that 3-4 year time jump. But then we do get another time jump, the 10-year time jump. So we got 6 months, 3 or 4 years, 10 years. I do wonder if the writers themselves even know about these damn ages. And why is Viserys so old? He was supposed to be, I mean, no offense to Patty. He's a wonderful actor, but I just look at this man. I'm like, are you aging because you're sick? Like, I look at Daemon and Viserys, and I'm like, Viserys, you're supposed to be like, the show started, I'm like, ain't no way that's a 28. How old was he when he married Alicent? 28? I think was he 28 years old? He wasn't even 30 when he married Alicent. I'm like, you got this man looking like he's 50. Like, why is he so old? What are these ages? And how old is Kristen Cole? He don't look like he changed either. Him and Daemon just walking around like, hey, y'all, we found the fountain of youth. Anyways, let's start the episode.
It's been near 6 years since I last saw my lord husband, Maester. I must know.
6 years?
Will he live?
Or near 6 years.
In the fighting, his neck was slashed by a courser's dagger.
Is that Bela? She's at Driftmark?
On his death, the seat passes.
To Lucerys Velaryon, as is my lord husband's desire. The matter has been decided.
By a man whose ambition has brought down on us calamity after calamity.
What?
My brother cares only for the history.
Hold the phone. Corlys made y'all something. Y'all better be easy on Corlys right now.
The crown has good reason to take my side.
My cousin the king would have your tongue.
Why would
for
the
this.
crown back
But
you?
it's not a king who sits the Iron Throne these days. It's a queen.
Also, Alicent sits on the throne now. But y'all need to be easy on Corlys here. Like, excuse me, Corlys. That man did not spend his life trying to bring House Velaryon. Like, y'all became the second powerful house to whatchamacallit, Jesus. Y'all usurped Hightowers under his reign as Lord of Driftmark. And as Lord of Driftmark, he named his heir. And he named Lucerys.
And landed at the Blackwater Rush.
Dranyut.
Oh, she's pregnant.
The end.
The mouth.
6 years. How old are Rhaenyra's kids? And I mean the ones that she has with Daemon. Is she on Joffrey?
No.
Viserys?
Keep going.
Or Visenya? Can't be Visenya.
Killed.
Felled. It is a related word. I don't expect you to learn High Valyrian in a day, Jace.
A king should honor the traditions of his forebears.
Viserys seems very earnest.
Leave us.
She's like, okay, time for y'all to go.
Joffrey?
Uncle's here. Uncle Daddy. I'm gonna call him Uncle Daddy Daemon. Like, from now on, you shall be known as Uncle Daddy Daemon.
He means to call into question Luke's legitimacy. And by extension, Jace, and by extension, my own claim to the throne. Rhaenys flames a chord. Yes, it's Laena's memory she honors. She has no love for us.
That's a,
Has the Viper's venom spread so far?
Those vipers rule in my father's name.
That's an interesting, decision with the whole Rhaenys has no love for them.
Choice do I have?
How are they gonna get her involved then? Because I always felt like Rhaenys, you know, she messed with Rhaenyra. Like she did that. So why does Rhaenys get involved? I'm so curious what'll drag Rhaenys in. If she blames Rhaenyra for the death of Laenor and she doesn't like her. Actually, I can't think of one scene that makes me think Rhaenys has bleak despair towards Rhaenyra. From the very first interaction they've had, I didn't sense anything good between them. I remember that one scene when they were talking about Rhaenyra taking the throne. She seemed very antagonistic towards her, or at the very least, maybe that's just the actress's like feel towards the scene, but I felt nothing there between them, if not just Rhaenys feeling bitter towards her. They didn't send an honor guard, nothing. Oh, the seven. Have they not
I would say it's nice to be home, but I scarcely recognize it.
been back? So did Viserys not agree with another star? So did Viserys not approve of their wedding, so they stayed away?
A matter has arisen that requires your attention.
Whatever it is, Sir Eric, you need to wait.
The twins!
There's been a delicate situation in his apartments.
Oh God, I'm kind of afraid to see
Father?
him. Jesus, this man looks like sir, you look like you're 100 years old.
Who goes there?
Father? It's me, my king.
Shame we didn't see his reaction to them getting married, given that was such a huge thing in the first half. Daemon wanted to marry her, and he's like, nope. That was like that was like pretty much their last fight they had, was over him marrying her, wanting to marry her.
It's been so long.
Oh, so he didn't. So did he not kick him out? Or
Petitions. I listened to Notto. Is he to all that business now?
No, brother, listen to me. You are to affirm your position for Viserys.
Father? There's someone we wish to introduce you to.
Aww. So she had Aegon. So I guess she's but he looks like he's on death's door. So has she had Viserys yet? Oh.
Father? This is Aegon.
Okay, so that's Viserys.
Aegon.
And this is Viserys.
Are y'all gonna do another time jump to age the kids up? I'm tired of these time jumps. These boys are so young. They won't be able to
That is a name fit for a king.
Aww. Oh, these damn time jumps. Because these kids are their children are young. They're like toddler, if that. What are they, like a year old, 2, 3?
I'm sorry.
Because she's pregnant with Visenya. Oh. So. What's this? What the hell happened here?
I was fetching the princess's wine, and I put it on his table, and when I turned, I didn't see him. I asked him to stop. Your Grace, he did. Truly.
Oh my
You must believe me.
You know what? Throw the kid off the effing cliff. Absolutely not. Okay, you know what? Throw him off a cliff. Throw this boy off a cliff. You know, Alice said just toss him off. Go back to that roof he was jacking off in front of. Put him, toss him out that window. Toss him out the window he was jacking off of.
I believe you.
You do?
I do. It's what others might believe. You were alone with the prince, were you not?
Yes.
And no one else saw what happened between the two of you? If anyone else were to hear about this.
I haven't told anyone.
You told Sir Eric, and Talia, and now me.
Oh my god. This is just awful.
For your troubles.
I have no words. I truly don't know what to say here. I have absolutely no words for this.
Get up!
Why did I need to see all that?
Mother, what is it?
Think of the shame on your wife. On me. How can you keep carrying on like this, especially on a day like today?
Why? What is it today?
You know, you've been beating this kid for a very long time, and...
Try so hard, but it will never be enough for you or father.
I don't give two. You spare me. Yeah. What's sick happening here? All of y'all, go somewhere, please. No, Why is out of everything I've seen on this show, that's an entire sequence. Nothing has disturbed me more from the beginning of that girl on her knees crying in front of Allison to that last scene.
The joy of your presence.
Indeed.
So they haven't seen each other since Driftmark?
My father and I are mere stewards of the king's will and wisdom.
And how exactly is that wisdom expressed? In blinks and wheezes? For the king's suffering, did the maesters also prescribe the removal of Targaryen heraldry and the installation in its stead of various statues and stars?
Yeah, I have seen all these stars everywhere.
But be assured the father is just and commands me to forget the accusations you have held in this room today.
Girl, you need to be saving that for your son. I'm gonna need you to go for your son. Please drag him out and serve him the king's justice.
Come on.
The only person I want to see dragged out is Aegon. He can go.
If I look more like Sir Laenor Velaryon than Sir Harwin Strong.
Doesn't
He's
matter.
like, if I looked black, I would not be in this problem. Brother, I don't look black enough. We don't look black enough.
Baela said you might be here. She's done well as your ward. You've raised her admirably.
You honor me.
So Baela was raised away from the...
Might I speak to the princess alone, Rhaena? Is no fair proceeding. It is a trap. Set by the Queen in the Hand, I'd wager, to proclaim my son illegitimate.
Yet you did worse than that with Laenor.
No. I would have preferred if she did, because then this would have made a whole lot more sense.
I love
Why?
your son.
I don't get why Rhaenys never liked her. Because from the jump, ever since she was a kid, she seemed to be standoffish with her.
I did not order his death, nor was I complicit in it, I swear this to you. Back Luke's claim, and let us betroth Laena's children to mine. Baela will be queen of the Seven.
So this is how we're betrothing them?
Or a desperate one.
I take it back. Whatever fire Rhaenyra had, that's gone. Girl, you back to being desperate and pitiful.
You can bargain with me all you like. They force you to your knees. And I must stand alone.
why am I the only one who don't like Rhaenys? There's nothing since her very first. I'm like, geez, this Rhaenys. I don't get what. From the moment her first scene with Rhaenyra, it was just so. She comes off as so damn bitter towards Rhaenyra. Is it because she was named heir and Jaehaerys never saw her as an adequate heir? I don't. From the beginning, she seems so antagonistic to Rhaenyra since she was a child.
The Song of Ice and Fire, do you believe it to be true?
Bringing that back in.
By naming me heir, you divided
Girl,
them.
it don't matter. Let that prophecy go. It don't matter. We know how this ends. At least in the show.
I thought I wanted it. But the burden is a heavy one.
So she doesn't want it?
If you wish me to bear it, then defend me. And my children.
Girl, if you don't want it, at this point, just sit down with Alicent and then try to come up with something. Like, I'll give Aegon the throne, even though he has no business being on that damn thing. And just say, you know what, we'll figure out something. Child, I don't know what the hell this is right now. All of y'all are annoying me. Viserys, you were once my favorite character, but now I have none. Y'all all annoy me. Except Daemon, strangely enough. Daemon's the only one who doesn't annoy me. That's my barometer. And Aemon. Aemon doesn't really annoy me now. I mean, as a kid, that one episode, you know, Baela, Rhaena, they don't annoy me. The boys don't annoy me. As long as you don't annoy me at this point.
If I am to grace this fast with some answer, I will start by reminding the court that nearly 20 years ago in this very...
Huh?
King Viserys of House Targaryen, the first of his name, King of the Andals, and the Rhoynar, and the first men.
Yeah, exactly. Get up out his seat, Otto! Viserys said, y'all better move! Viserys, I don't think you should be doing this. Oh, y'all plans are... Yup, I guess he heard her. I like his mask. Oh, all he sees is her. That's the one thing I don't doubt about Viserys, is his love for that child. Jeez, he loves Rhaenyra. He's like, I do this for you.
I will sit the throne today.
Exactly, move! Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, he's like, oh, okay. I'm a patient man. You have your moment. I shall have mine.
I'll be fine.
I don't think you'll be fine, Viserys. What help you? Well, he has to take his throne on his own. Ooh, his crown. Okay, that's not a good look. Oh my god. I wish we got more of them. Wow. Put his crown right back on his head. Oh, what could have been if you two just... Y'all were so damn different.
Side to Lord Corlys's wishes is the Princess Rhaenys.
It was ever my husband's will that Driftmark pass through Selenor to his true-born son, Lucerys Velaryon.
I guess that's how you get the
matter
betrothed.
settled. Again.
Again.
You break law and centuries of tradition to install your daughter as heir.
What law? What law? What law? There is no law. Y'all ain't got no laws. They're all arbitrary.
That is no true Valarian.
It's like, that is no black man.
But you will not decide the future of mine.
But Lord, why didn't he take this? You had...
My house survived the doom.
I don't get it. You had an entire decade to bring this up to Corlys before he went off to war. I don't get it, sir. Why are you waiting until he's on his deathbed?
Say it.
Vayman, if you had broached this earlier, I would have backed you. But the fact that you waited till your brother is on death's door to bring this up and he's not here.
Her children
Bastards!
I say this respectfully. This actor overacts. I'm sorry. He really does. This man is acting for his life. He's like, I got one chance. I'm gonna overact every moment. I say that respectfully. Viserys said, I may be dead. Oh! Viserys like, I may be dead, but I still got some fight in me. Oh God, Viserys, you used what little strength you had left to take out that knife. He said, listen here. I may be on death's door, but I still got some fight in me.
I must put things right.
Make things right. I guess that's a common theme. People wait until it's a little too late to try to make things right. Nothing motivates you like the, you know, threat of death looming. But granted, I feel like the threat of death has been looming over you since like episode 4.
The stranger has visited me more times than I can count, Grand Maester.
Is that why you're bitter?
I assure you.
I'm sorry. I don't understand Rhaenys. I mean, I do, but for future, events, I'm like, I ain't gonna feel nothing towards this character. I'm sorry. From the moment I remembered that scene with her where she's like, the realm would rather put the men of the realm would rather put the kingdom to torch before putting a woman on the throne. There was just something, I don't know if it's the actress or the writing, but there was just something between her and that scene that just came off so bitter. And I'm like, did Rhaenyra do something to you? Now she has, I guess, in a way, yes and no, but...
My grandsons, Jace and Luke, will marry their cousins, Baela and Rhaena, further strengthening the bond between our houses.
Do they know each other?
A toast to the young
I guess Rhaena, Luke, and Baela would, but Baela wasn't even raised for what I...
Well done, Jace.
It both gladdens my heart. You've grown so distant from each other.
Where's Daeron? Are we gonna mention him? Or is the show just taking him out? Ooh, where's your eye? You were like, oh God, you're missing an eye? What the hell? Where'd your eye go? It's fitting, considering how blind you've been this entire show. For like 80% of the show. You had a moment. You had a moment where I was rooting for you, but you dropped the ball.
The crown cannot stand strong if the House of the Dragon remains divided.
Where's your cheek? What am I seeing through it? Oh God, I can see through his cheek. Kind of want to stuff something in there.
To raise my cup to Her Grace the Queen, but I must admit that no one has stood more loyally by his side than his good wife. And honor.
Honor? She's been
And for
plotting
that
on,
she has no breath.
on going against his wishes, so I don't know about honor, but she has taken good care of him. But she has been plotting on going against his named heir, so... Honorable, but everything else, yes. She has been taking care of him. That, absolutely.
We have more in common than we sometimes allow.
We? Don't include me in this. You! Like, I made a speech years ago.
You will make a fine queen.
The Otto didn't seem to like that. Does she mean it? I thought she feared for her the kid. So we no longer fear for the children? Are we doing away with that reason?
You've only just arrived. I'll, return on Dragonback.
So we're kumbayaing already? Just like that? We kumbaya? We good? What happened? Do we not actually fear for our kids? Was that a lie? Did we not fear for the children? I thought we were ready for war. What's going on? Yeah, like I said, she's been by his side. She's been very, like I said, I completely agree with her being very devoted to him.
Aegon.
Our son.
That's not Rhaenyra! Oh my God, that's not Rhaenyra, sir. Nobody can hold water, but you know, I guess this is it's okay for Viserys. Everybody
saw
just
in the
blabbing
north.
secrets.
It is you. You are the one. You must do this.
Rhaenyra's the one? This man is high. This man is going through it. You look like you're knocking on death's door, and you have been for a very long time, Viserys. So what does that mean that she now knows about the prince that was promised prophecy? I don't get it. What? I mean, does she even understand what the prince was promised prophecy?
I understand, my king.
Oh, that. Does she mean she think he wants Aegon to be king? Oh, Viserys. Oh, he's crying. Oh, I think this is it. Oof. Viserys. Ugh. I don't know how I feel about you, Viserys. I mean, I love this iteration of you. You're so frustrating, but God, I feel like his actor invested me into him. Such an honest actor. I guess my love was Aemma. Oh. You know, if you really do see Aemma in the Targaryen afterlife, she might smack you upside the head for having her cut open. She's like, listen, I love you, but you cut me open. We gotta talk. Did Alicent think he was talking about Rhaenyra? I mean, Aegon wants Aegon to be king? Is that what we're I'm so confused. Does she think he wants Aegon to be king? Is that what that scene meant? Like, I wasn't a big fan of the reason behind Alicent donning the green dress, primarily because the reasons we were given, the show had kind of constructed a personality for Rhaenyra to have that didn't match with what was being said. The only thing I felt was a viable reason for Alicent to kind of turn heel was Kristen Cole, and for the character Kristen Cole and Rhaenyra being a threat to the kids, I guess. But for the show, in terms of outside of the show, the threat that Rhaenyra would pose to the children, I feel like they dedicated an entire episode, that hunting episode, to say Rhaenyra wasn't willing to kill a stag to prove legitimacy, because the white stag, the white hart, would have boosted, or sort of like in front of all these high lords, the white hart appeared to her, and she didn't do anything to it. Kristen Cole went to pull his sword and she stopped him, and they just went back to camp with the boar. I feel like that entire white hart and all of that was added in, the hunt and all of that, was to show that Rhaenyra wasn't willing to kill the white hart in order to bolster her legitimacy to the throne. And then they turn around and say she would be willing to kill her siblings because of the threat. Them being speaking of siblings, where's Daeron? Where's her brother? Where's their brother? I mean, okay, I understand he's probably in Old Town, but I'm like, we're not mentioning him. Maybe they mention him in next episode. Maybe they send word to Daeron that Viserys has passed, and that's how they kind of tell the audience that there's another kid out there. Or did they mention him and I missed it? Please tell me, did I miss it? I'm sorry, y'all. If I'm flaming the show and they mentioned Daeron and I missed it, oh, I am so sorry. Oh my God, please tell me if oh God, that's gonna be so embarrassing. You forget everything I said. I'm not flaming the show. If I missed it, y'all, I am sorry. But so I'm gonna leave that alone, because I feel like maybe they did mention it and I missed it. Okay. No. Okay, yeah. So I feel like the show established Rhaenyra wasn't gonna harm her children through like some metaphor with the white hart and the boar and all that. So that kind of
threw away the reasoning of Rhaenyra, of usurping the throne from Rhaenyra. It to me, it just all felt disingenuous. The reasoning behind Alicent donning the green dress. The heel turn just didn't add up for me. I didn't connect to it. Maybe other people did. I just didn't. I feel like it didn't do Alicent's character, her characterization, any good. I feel like if they had probably spent more time with Rhaenyra and her siblings, does she really have a relationship with her siblings? I don't think she does. Not in the show. I feel like she had a bit more in the books, or at least she was said to have. Not, they didn't care for each other. But have they even spoken? I'm trying to think. Has Rhaenyra and the boys, as well as Helena, actually had a conversation? I don't think they have. They've never conversed, have they? Anyways, it seemed to me in this episode, Alicent, that they kept showing Otto looking at Alicent when she says, like when she goes over to talk to Rhaenyra and she's like grabbing her hand, and I'm like, the last time they spoke, it seemed like they were like understanding that this is war and they're getting ready for it. And then the next episode, I understand there's a time jump. Like, I want to know what happened between that time jump for things to, because they're conspiring with Vaemon to take the throne. Is it who the Aegon assaulting that girl? Was that it? That she feels like, you know what, let's just let Rhaenyra have the throne because Aegon is a piece of work. But if she knows Aegon's a piece of work, why back Viserys now when you weren't going to back Viserys for the last, like, how long have they, I think what? The episode I think it's out, I'm trying to think of the timeline. Over a decade. I'll just leave it there. Over a decade, you have been plotting and telling your kids and betrothing them and everything, like you are going to be king, you're going to be queen, you've been, and Rhaenyra's children are illegitimate and all of this. Is it because of his speech at the end? I think that's what it is. Like, she's now, I'm trying to understand Alicent's heel turn, as well as it seemed, because it was said that after Daemon and Rhaenyra married, when word got back to King's Landing, Viserys was enraged. He was not happy about this at all. And understandably, because he was never for them marrying, and they did it against his wishes and knowledge. So I thought, and so they stayed away. But so I thought that's what it was. But it seems that Viserys, that wasn't it. Like, he didn't seem angry, or they didn't speak on. I feel like they could have said initially, we stayed away because we knew you weren't okay with this marrying. But it didn't seem, Viserys didn't seem to feel any type of way about them being married. And that's interesting considering the whole falling out between Daemon and Viserys. I mean, it started with the air for a day comment, but he seemed to have welcomed Daemon back, and then Rhaenyra became an issue, and then he, is like, leave. I don't know how I feel about this episode. I'm gonna, I can't stay long because I need to go check on like I said earlier in this reaction, my dog had surgery, so he's on narcotics, but his anti-inflammatories have left him runny, so I need to go change his diaper. I need to check. So I'm gonna leave it here, and maybe I'll speak more on it when I do like the pre-episode musings for episode 9, as I gather my thoughts, and I'm gonna go outside in my living room and rewatch this episode after I clean up my dog and try to piece things together and understand the changes that have happened, and people's positions seem to have changed. I want to understand this more. Because it's not maybe it's not clicking for me during the first watch. Maybe, you know, when you watch something else, you pick up on things you never saw the first time. Maybe that's what's happening here. I just need to rewatch it a second time to see if I missed anything. I'm going to also see if they mentioned Daeron, because I feel like you know what, maybe I should just rewatch the entire show up until like episode 8, because I'm going to be here with my dog for a while now. So I might do that and see if they mentioned Daeron and I just missed it. But yeah, I'm trying to understand. So did Alicent not fear for the kids, or does she no longer see Rhaenyra? Because I feel like Daemon was such a huge factor in it as well. They feared Daemon too. Like, what would Daemon do to the boys? As well as Corlys. They didn't trust Corlys with the kids either. In fact, I'm pretty sure they thought he had Harwin murked. Because of the whole Laenor situation. But it was also said that they had a lot of love for the kids. That's also an interesting change. I mean, maybe Corlys does love the boys. Like I like they understood Laenor is gay, and these kids they never. I always felt like they claimed them, and it's an interesting choice, because I feel like not only is Team Green and Team Black very divided, I feel like Team Black is also very divided within. It's like, I don't feel there's any. When I say Team Black, I mean the family unit, like Bela and Rhaena and Jace and Luke. I don't really buy it. I don't. I mean, they were raised together. They knew each other for a very long time. But I guess during those 6 years, Rhaena and Luke would have gotten to know each other. But Bela, it said that Rhaenys raised Bela in Driftmark. So Bela wasn't with Rhaenyra and Daemon, and most importantly, Jace, who I feel like I wonder if they're doing this to set up a certain plot point later on. And once again, I hate to bring it back to this, but the racial choices, when you race swap characters, there's certain implications that will there's the context in which you write them in. You can't just race swap characters and not think about how you're going to write them in terms of the context. Like, inclusivity does not mean a damn thing to me. I don't care if you have gay characters or black characters or white characters. I want well-written characters. I don't care if your characters are gay or not. I don't care if your characters are black or not. Cast characters, cast actors that make sense. Their race, all of that, it all jives together. It makes sense. I like well-written stories, and that's what I mostly focus on. So when you make a decision to be more inclusive, make it make sense. Don't just do that without understanding the context of because I feel like if Bela was raised by Rhaenys and Jace and Bela have no relationship, it sort of sets up a plot point. If you know what happens in the books, that I feel like they're going to go forward with, even though I feel like Mushroom was the only one who spoke on it. I can't think of anyone else bringing it up but Mushroom, and Mushroom wasn't even there. So I'm like, so y'all really gonna have that happen again to another black character? Because I feel like Laena felt like she wasn't enough for Daemon, or she felt second fiddle to Rhaenyra, and I never got the sense in that relationship, even if it wasn't predicated on love, that if that's what really happened, if Daemon didn't really love Laena in the actual iteration in the books, because like I said, I don't view this to be like an actual telling. I feel like this is their telling of what they want the dance to be, but it's not George R. R. Martin's telling of what really would have happened, in my opinion. Because too many things were changed. Like, the ages are changed, dates are changing, where people are located, relationships are changing. Like, how can you say that this is an actual telling of the Dance of the Dragons when the ages aren't the same, the locations in which people were living and raised aren't the same, the nature of relationships aren't even the same? Like, I mean, I feel like, okay, you want to debate how certain events happen, fine, but ages, that's up for debate. Where people were living at the time of events, you debate that. Really, we feel how long wars lasted. And speaking of wars, Aegon and Viserys are so young. Are we doing another time jump? Because they have important plot points that I feel like they're way too young in this, unless y'all are gonna take away their plot points. I feel like either there's a time jump, or they're just gonna erase the plot point. Or what a lot of shows like to do is just pop in older kids and say, yeah, they were this old all along. I remember Sons of Anarchy did that, because I could never figure out the age of Jax's oldest son, and I felt like his youngest son was a baby for like the entirety of the show. Well, not the entirety, but like season 4 and on, his youngest kid was so. Have you ever watched Sons of Anarchy? I feel like those kids, his son's ages were so weird. He was whatever age they needed the actor to like put like words together. So when he started having plot, so we're like, okay, we're gonna age him up now so he can say lines. And I feel like shows do that sometimes. So I wonder if that's what they're going to do with Aegon and Viserys, Rhaenyra and Daemon's sons, because they're pretty young. I thought Rhaenyra was pregnant at the time of their marriage. I feel like the timeline of, because they've been married for almost 6 years, and I feel like none of the boys looked older than 2 or 3. Them or maybe 3, because I didn't get a clear look at who was Rhaenyra holding. Viserys? I didn't get a good look at Aegon, so I can't really tell. But he didn't look anything older than 3, right? Or maybe 4. 4 feels like it's pushing it. He looked young, but I don't want to spoil anything. But they have important moments in the telling. So I'm like, I would love to see that happening, but it's like they look so young. So maybe what the show might do is just kind of swap in older actors so they can have like the shows do that. Like I think it's easy. Actually, I don't know if it's easier to handle babies than it is to handle like maybe 7-year-olds or 8-year-olds. I honestly don't know. I would imagine 7 and 8-year-olds would be easier to handle, because I feel like that's how old he is. Aegon, was he 7 or 8 when everything went down? Because the dance doesn't last long. It doesn't. I mean, it starts, and then there's like a point in which, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's not a long, drawn out, like tedious war. So I feel like that's what they might do, or they might just take out or maybe they won't take it out, but they'll swap out certain. Maybe it'll be a boat instead. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I really do. All of you. I feel like this reaction wasn't a good reaction. I got to admit, maybe I should have waited. I might refilm this. I don't know. But then it won't be an honest first watch. Damn. There's just a lot going on. My head wasn't fully in it because I'm my dog, and so I'm just, thank you. I'm sorry if this wasn't the best reaction. The next one will be excellent. I'll be more focused. I'll be more into it. I just wanted to at least get one reaction done this week. It's been a hectic week. Oof. We had to drive home with him in the pouring rain late at night to bring him home, and it's been a lot. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I truly hope you all have a good day, a good week, and everything's going well for all of you. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. I truly appreciate it. I truly do. I mean that sincerely. Thank you for listening to me rant and ramble. I think I was a bit too much of a Debbie Downer. This one, my energy will be raised and I won't be so critical. I'm going to stop. I feel like sometimes I'm a bit too critical and I can be a little too negative. I feel like this reaction was a little too negative. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I don't want to be like, I want to separate the books and the show, but at the same time, I feel like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to, how can I put it? Like, I want to compare and contrast the things they do differently, but I don't want to judge the characters based off their book counterparts. Because I will say Alicent and Rhaenyra, especially those two characters, are vastly different from their book counterparts. They're completely different characters, in my opinion. So I don't judge Alicent based off her book counterpart. I don't judge Rhaenyra based off her book character. I don't judge Daemon off his book counterpart. Like, I don't, that's what I mean by I don't mind. I don't think it's wrong of me to compare the things that the show does differently. I think it's a bit, when you judge the characters based off of what their book counterpart does when their show counterparts haven't done that. So that's what I mean by keeping them separate. Like, I don't hold certain things that Alicent does, like, in the books against her that she doesn't do here. Like, I wanted to go in clean and not judge Rhaenyra based off of what happens in the future or what I know happens, because the show may not do that. I feel like like I said, Rhaenys feels like a completely different character. Alicent feels like a completely different character. Viserys feels, I mean, they fleshed out Viserys. I will say the two characters that they have definitely fleshed out the most is Alicent and Viserys. Like, they really put a lot of dialogue and character moments for them. And it's interesting because I always felt like Alicent was his marriage for love and Aemma was his marriage of duty, and they kind of switched up, and I don't mind that, to be honest. I don't feel like that's a bad change. At least that's the feeling I got. Like, I feel like Aemma was more of his his arranged marriage, and there was care there, but I don't feel like he truly loved her the way he loved Alicent. I don't think it's wrong to compare what the show took a different interpretation, or if they completely decided to go against any of the speculations that was featured in Fire and Blood and decided to walk a different path. I feel like it's not a bad thing to say, okay, this is a bit different. Or like, a friend, I don't know if like Viserys is a good fighter or Luke can fight. Like, it said that they're good swordsmen, but here they look shook by Aemon. Like, Aemon seems to be the best of all of them. Granted, I think he was also there's certain choices he makes that I'm like, it has to be youth. But it's like, there's certain things that Aemon does, I'm like, it's youth. Because you're like, either that was just a stupid idea, Aemon, or that was just youth. And I think it's youth. They're all so young. I think that's the thing. They're babies no, they're not babies by like Westerosi standards. But for me, I'm like, they're kids having to like go off to battle and go off to war. And it's like that, I try not to hold certain choices they make too harshly against them. But Aegon, Viserys's Aegon and Alicent's, I will hold all of that against him. Anyways, if you all like this reaction, go ahead and give it a like and tell me if they mentioned Daeron. Don't tell me what you thought of the episode. Tell me if I missed it, because I'm gonna feel like an idiot if they mentioned Daeron and I missed it. Okay, tell me if they mentioned Daeron below, and tell me what the heel turn for Alicent was, because did she not fear for her kids? I feel like Daemon being involved with Rhaenyra and having sons with her would amp up the tension. But it didn't amp up the tension the way I thought it was going to amp up the tension between everyone. Like, I feel like marrying Daemon was supposed to amp up the tension, but it didn't amp up the tension. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to. I will see you all next time with a less negative critical reaction. I'll be more positive. I'll mention only things I like, and I'll be less confused. I'll keep my mouth shut more. But I'll see you next time. I don't know when I'll get this next reaction out. It depends on school and work and who can stay home and watch the dog, and who, because he can't be by himself, because if he gets